In this video, we will discuss SAS graphics. There are three generations of SAS graphics. They are Proc plot, Proc gplot, and Proc sgplot. Let's see how they look like. So I just use the data. This is called iris. So we have several variables. So the first one indicates the species of iris. And the next four variables are just different measure of the flower. So including the length and width. So this is the first generation of this one. So we just generate a scatter plot of the sepal length against sepal width. You can see it may look weird, right? So it just use character to show graphs. So this is the first generation because at that time, so there's no graphic system yet. So everything should be displayed by characters. So this is a Proc plot. Proc gplot. This is how Proc gplot looks like. Well, much better than the previous one, but still very ugly, right? So this is the current version of, the third generation of graphics. It is called ODS graphs. So this is of high quality. So it is much better than the previous two versions. So the Proc sgplot, just produce high quality graphics with easier syntax. We use a Proc sgplot for single-celled graphs and sgpanel for multi-celled graphs. So in this video, we only discuss sgplot. So this is a list of plot we can draw using Proc sgplot. So for XY plot, include the band, bubble, ellipse, or maybe the scatter plot, the regression line, and so on. And we will not mention all of them, but we will discuss some major ones. And additional to that, so we also have box plot, density, and histogram. So they are mainly used for continuous variables. And we also have dot plot, bar plot, and line plot. So they are mainly for categorical variables. So if you want to save the graphs, right? So you can just write this line in the beginning of your SAS code. So ODS listing gpath. So here you just specify a location, and so SAS will save the plot in that folder. So for example, here, see if I run this first, right? So this is my home directory on the cloud storage, and then I run this procedure. See, it generates a plot, right? If you look at here, where's the plot? Let me put it here. You run this one. See here. Then SAS just create a graph file. So the file extension is PNG, right? So you can download the file, right? So then you can open it, right? So just click it, and so then you can insert this file, for example, to Word document or maybe to other file you prefer. So let's just show different type of graph we can draw. So the first one is bar chart. So bar chart is used to display the frequencies of different levels of a categorical variable. And the syntax is, so we say Proc sgplot, so specify name of the dataset. So then you use vbar, so then followed by the name of a categorical variable. And so after this slash, so then you can include more options. So let's check some of the plot first, and we will add sections. We will add those options one by one. So this is a data I want to use, body measures. We used this data set before, so the data was extracted from a survey result of National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. Yeah, so we have more than 9,000 observations and 17 variables. So the first one, we are interested in V bar, so the marital status, right? So then you just say V bar marital status. So here specify name of the dataset. Here, so I just use the title statement and the label statement. So title statement just add the title to that plot. And so the label statement just for marital, right? So instead of name of the variable, so we want to show some meaningful text. We just want to show marital status. Yeah, so if you run this one, see, this title, bar chart of marital status. So this is specified by this title, right? And so the legend, so here, marital status. So this suppose is expected to show the name of the variable. And so because we have the label statement, so instead of the name, so thus we show marital status. Yeah, and then this is bar chart, right? So indicate the frequency table for each level of marital status. The next one, maybe let me comment out this one first. See, we have V bar. Then notice, see, we have the group option and group display option. What is group option? So here we just demonstrate the bar chart of one categorical variable, right? Yeah, but we know if you want to display two categorical variable in one plot, for example, so the marital status can be further break down to two different genders. So you may have male or female, right? Yeah, so then for this group option, you can just specify a second categorical variable. Yeah, and then SAS will indicate the bar chart for different gender. Yeah, so we run this one. You can see, yeah, so different one. Different bar, I mean, for each level combination of marital status, and we have two vertical bars, right? Yeah, so one for male and one for female. So this is the option group display. So just this option just specifies so how these bar are placed, right? So the option is cluster. Cluster just means, see, for male and female, so these two bars are placed side by side. The other one, the default, the other one is called stacking, I guess. Yeah, it's called stack, right? So stack, so just means one is on top of the other. Yeah, so like this one. Yeah, so this is stack. What is a format? So notice, so here in this legend, SAS shows F and M, right? For this F and M, so we can use more meaningful text. Yeah, so this is the value of a variable. So if we want to show that, I mean, use different text, so we should use a format. So this is why here I define a format. For F, I want to display it as female, and for M, I want to display it as male. And so then we, in a format statement, we specify for gender, so we use this gender name, right? So this is the name of the format we define here. Yeah, so if you run this one, see, instead of F and M, right? So SAS will display female and male. I think, to me, I like this one, cluster, yeah. So put those male females side by side. Yeah, so this looks better. I think we discussed title. Oh, so V bar can be changed to H bar. V bar just means vertical bar, right? So if you change this to H bar, means a horizontal bar. Yeah, so if you run that, So this is H bar, so horizontal bar. Next one, histogram and density. So they are used to display the distribution of a continuous variable. So these are the syntax, right? So then we have histogram, or may just show histogram. So density just display the density of the distribution. So let's see. So here, see, we show a histogram of the height and also the density of the height. So here, here I have two density statements, right? So this density so just means we assume the data comes from normal distribution, and so we will estimate mean and variance based on your data, right? And so then show a normal curve, so with that mean and variance estimated based on your data. So this one is another curve. Maybe I run this first. Okay. Right. See, you can see we have the histogram. So this smooth curve, so this solid blue line, right? So this is generated by this the first density statement. Yeah, for this one, essentially we assume the data comes from a normal distribution, and so then we estimate mean and variance based on your data, right? So this curve just with that mean and that variance. The dashed line, the dashed red line, right? So this is generated by this one. So with option type equals kernel. This is called a kernel density estimator. Yeah. So you don't need to worry about the mathematics behind that. I think you can think in this way. So the kernel density curve, just like you use curve, just try to trace the shape of the histogram, right? Yeah, so usually for this plot, so you can compare two curves. I mean the solid line and the dashed line. So if the two curves look similar, so then your data follows a normal distribution. Yeah, so otherwise, so like this one, clearly, so the two curves are quite different, right? The data does not follow a normal distribution. Then we have title and label. I think we mentioned that, right? So title just show you this title histograms of height. Label just specify this text, right? So I mean use this text to replace the name of the variable. So this is a histogram. The next one is box plot. So box plot is also used for continuous variable. So it is used to display the 5 summary statistics of your box plot. So for example, let's show this one. Maybe we just first, yeah, box plot, right? We want to show box plot / category. Category equals race. So this just means maybe first we draw the plot, so without that option. Yeah, so just show the box plot. So this is a box plot, right? So in the box, so the horizontal line in the horizontal line in the center just indicate the value of median. This diamond-shaped point so indicate the location of mean. The upper line of the box indicates the third quartile. The lower line of the box indicates first quartile, right? So first quartile so just means roughly 20% of the data below it. Third quartile so just means 20% of the data above it. So middle line just this line median, right? So indicate roughly the median. I mean the center of your data. Yeah, and so see between these two boxes, between this line to the upper bound of the box, so you have roughly 25% of your data. For this horizontal line and the lower bound of the box, so you have another 25% of your data, right? So below this box, 25% of the data. Above this line, 25% of your data. This line indicate the kind of a cutoff point for outlier. So any points go beyond those 2 points, either below it or maybe above it, right? So will be treated as outlier. For outlier, so SAS usually so just use circle, use a point to indicate it. Yeah, since this one we have many outliers. So this is a box plot. If you have another option, says, for example, so category equals race. So then just means so the box plot is constructed at different level of race. Yeah, so let's run that one. You can see we have one box plot for different race. Okay. You can also add another variable. You see, for this one with a category, so we just add one extra categorical variable, right? So you can add another categorical variable, you call it gender. So then in this way, so basically we have two options, right? So categories option specify one categorical variable, and the group option specify another categorical variable. Yeah, so if you run this one, so SAS will generate a box plot at a different level combination of race and gender. You can see, right? Yeah, so different color just indicate a different gender, right? So male and female. Yeah, so each group, see, this indicate one race. Yeah, so this will be easier to compare those summary statistics at a different level of race and gender. This is vplot. We can change vplot to hplot. So V means vertical, H means horizontal, right? So if you do hplot, yeah, so then this is horizontal. I think we explained those box plot. Scatter plot. So this is a useful plot to show the relationship between two continuous variables. So in the scatter statement, you just specify x equals the variable goes to the horizontal axis, and y specify the variable goes to the vertical axis. So let's try to show that. Scatter plot. So I just use the data grades. Yeah, so those are just exam scores for some students. Here, I just want to plot the exam 1 against exam 2. Okay, right. So see, exam 1 goes to the horizontal axis, and exam 2 goes to the vertical axis. Yeah, so then this is the scatter plot. We may have an option /group, right? So this just specify a categorical variable. So with this option, at different levels, SAS will use different color to show it. Label. What is label? Label just here, see, by default, so SAS just use circle to indicate it, right? Yeah, but instead of show that, so I want SAS to show the name of each person. Yeah, so then with that one, you can see, yeah, so SAS just use next to each point, so SAS just show the name of each of the person, right? So SAS will have circle and will have plus, yeah, just indicate male and female. So this is a scatter plot. This is scatter plot. Group option. Next one is called a dot plot. A dot plot is used to display summary statistics of a continuous variable at different level of a categorical variable. Yeah, so let's show you the plot first. So here, so first I just create some height class, right? Height class, okay. Then dot. After dot, so this one should be a categorical variable. Maybe let me run this one first. What are this one? You can see each row just indicate a height class. Yeah, so I just round the height to the nearest 5, right? So each line just corresponds to a height. And so the dot here, see, we have a dot and we have two vertical bars on both sides. Yeah, so the dot indicate, let me see. So it indicates the mean, right? And so that little vertical bar indicate the confidence interval. You can see, look at the code, the dot height, right? So this specify a categorical variable. So this just specify each different line, right? So the response just means, so I want to compute the summary statistics for this variable. Stat equals mean. Yeah, so just means, so this dot will be the mean. The limit stat CLM, right? So just tells us, so that limit, so basically that vertical bar, so will be the confidence interval for mean. Yeah, so this is a dot plot. So for those stat, so instead of mean, right? So you can also show a frequency, or maybe median, or maybe percent, or maybe sum. For that limit status, right? So additional to confidence limit, confidence interval for mean, so you can also show standard deviation or maybe the standard error. Yeah, so depending on which one you want to display in that plot. Next one, so this is a series plot. So this is also called line plot. Yeah, so basically you just plot the value in order, right? And so use a straight line to connect those points. The name of the statement is called a series, right? So then you just specify what variable goes to the horizontal axis, so which goes to the vertical axis. Yeah, so here, so let me show you one example. So this is electricity. Yeah, so we have time and also the amount of electricity used. So by the way, so for this line plot, right? So usually, so the data are collected in time order, or maybe in some specific order. So then in this series plot, or in this line plot, yeah, so the horizontal will be the time, vertical will be this one. Here I have an option marker. So marker just means we add point. So basically add this circle, so at each point. And so we also use line to connect it. If you drop the option marker, so SAS will only draw the line, but without that point. So this is a line plot. Next one, so this is you can also ask SAS to show fitted curves. Yeah, so the stated name, so can be one of the following, so can be reg, so means fitted linear regression line. Loss, so this means we just use a curve to fit the pattern. Or it can also be PB spline. Should be a B spline, not PB spline. PB spline. Yes, I think I missed a P here. PB spline. So let me show you here, like this one. See, this is an example of that grades, right? So we plot exam 2 against exam 1. Here, so instead of scatter, right? So scatter statement, so I use a reg statement. Yeah, so the reg difference is, see, we will have like a fitted regression lines here. Here, since we have 2 lines, right? So this is because we have the group option, just ask to do that at different level of gender. Yeah, so this is why. So we have 1 line for male and 1 line for female. For those points, so we also have different points for male and for females. If you do not want that separately for different genders, so you can see remove this group option. You do this one. Then SAS will do that, fit the regression line using all data. Okay. So this is I just want to show you other other way to fit the curve. Lows just means we just use some curves to just try to catch the pattern. Try to catch the pattern of the point. Lows. So this is the other one, PB spline. PB spline. Yeah, so PB spline, you will have more smooth curve. Okay. Group option and the data option and the data label option, I think we mentioned before, right? Yeah, so group option just means do that for different level of a categorical variable separately. Yeah, so as we demonstrated here. Data option just data label option just specify a label for each point. Yeah, so for example, so here we say data label equals name, right? Then next to the point, so SAS will show the name of each person. Yeah, so this option will be helpful if you want to identify some outlier, right? So if you plot in this way, see you will be able to see like this person will have the largest score in exam 1, right? Yeah, so this person will has the lowest score in exam 2. Yeah. This one just discussed how to control axes and the reference lines. See, you may specify what to write in the x-axis and y-axis. So using those x-axis statement or y-axis statement. Ref line just used to add some horizontal line or maybe some vertical lines. Yeah, so let's demonstrate that. Maybe I show you the plot first. Let's generate that. You can see, so additional to that, see we may have some horizontal lines, some vertical lines, right? So see x-axis with the label option, so this just specifies the text to be displayed on the x-axis. Yeah, so this will generate this text scores of exam 1. Y-axis statement, so we have a label option, so this specifies what text to be displayed in the y-axis. In the y-axis, in the vertical axis. Ref line 85, right? So axis equals x. So this just means at the x value of 85. So then 85, right? So then we have SAS will draw a vertical line. Yeah, so if you set that as axis equals to y, right? Then SAS will, at this position, will draw horizontal lines. Yeah, so this is why we have these two horizontal lines. For this transparency equals 0.5, right? With this option, so instead of dark, and the SAS will draw the line in gray, right? Yeah, so because we do not want these reference lines to hinder our reading of the graph. Label, right? So this just indicates so what to be labeled at those two reference lines. See, B card point, A card point, right? So SAS will display B card point, A card point here. Yeah, I guess so. Those are just the option we mentioned, right? Also, we can also have a grid. So what is a grid? See, for here, so if I say grid, right? So then SAS just will draw one line at each tick marker. See, just this is to draw grid. So at X, so then you can also draw grid at Y-axis. So this is a grid. Okay, yeah. we mentioned label, right? So label just specifies the tags on axis. Yeah, so we can use this axis equals to x or equal to y to specify the location. Yeah, so label specify by label, transparency specifies the degree of transparency. Then legend and insets. So we can have this key legend statement. So legend, so just means something like this one. So this is called a legend, right? So like this one, this is called legend. This is just help you to modify that. For example, I think so here we have key legend, right? So remember, so right now, so this is the behavior of the legend. Here we specify title equals gender. Maybe we run that one. See, now here, so this is the legend, right? And oh, sorry, not here, it's here, sorry, here. See, gender, see, will be the title of that legend. Location and the positions, this just specifies the location, because by default, so this legend is placed, let me show both together. In the first one, so the legend says this is outside of the plot. So this is inside of the plot, right? Yeah, and so for the second one, see, we specify the location to be inside, and so the position is bottom left. Yeah, so this is to that. Inset, so just means you want to add some extra text in the plot. For example, see, like on the right top corner, right? So then I just write this course and also the author. So because I draw this plot. Yeah, so then you can write something like this one, see, one string, two string, and so SAS will display those in two different lines. Yeah, so then the border position, so this just specifies the location of that inset. Yeah, you can see, so title, just add a title for the legend, right? Across specify the number of lines in the legend. So down specify number of rows in the legend. Location specify location, so either inside or outside. So there are two possible values. And for the position of the legend, so you can specify top left, top right, bottom. So those are just different options for position. I think so the meaning is clear. For the inset, you just specify the inset, right? So border, just add a border. So border, just see, like there is a line, is a box around those tags, right? Yeah, so if you drop this border, I think so. See, only the tags, so there's no box around the tags. Yeah. So position, just specify the position. I think position can be those. Okay, so that's legend. Those are just some options, and you can use to further customize the plot. Yeah, so you can say field attributes. Yeah, so this field attribute can be changed to label attribute, line attribute, mark attribute, and value attribute, right? So the attribute so can be the color, just color, right? So user either name of the color such as red, or you use those numbers. So pattern just means essentially the shape, right? Yeah, so can be solid, can be dash, or maybe dot. You can specify the size, or maybe the style, the symbol, thickness, or maybe the weight. Yeah, for example, let me show you some example here. You can see, maybe I just run a vanilla one, right? Vanilla one just means I drop all those, drop those. Okay, right. I think so. This part and also the bottom. So let's just run them together, and so then as a comparison we will notice a difference. You can see for example, so shape of the points, you can see, so they're different, right? So this is specified by symbol. Yeah, so see, marker attribute. So marker, so just try to specify those guys. Basically, just those points, the symbol used to draw the point. Line just used to specify those lines, right? So here we specify the blue, the thickness, and also the pattern, right? So pattern. So here we want a dash line, right? So this just specifies the dash line, the blue, and this thickness. Yeah. See, for this font, right? So for this label, so you can also specify this should be an italic style. Yeah. So this is why, see, this is italic style. Yeah, and for on the y-axis, right? So weight is bold. So we show that in bold text in terms of normal text. Yeah, so those are just some graph attributes. So you can use to customize your graph.